Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Fishing Man Life, and today you join me in my shed. Today I'm going to give you my 6 top tips for staying comfortable on the bank in the winter. As you know, the nights are drawn in now and the coldness is getting a bit horrendous. So I thought I'd share my tips. Obviously, my ways are not the only way, and there's hundreds and hundreds of tips. But for those that are thinking about venturing out for the first time, these are my sort of tips that I would say I've learned the hard way over the years. So first of all, tip number 1, and that's wear suitable layers of clothing. For example, you don't want to be dressed up in lots of thick clothing, because even in the cold you're likely to sweat, and obviously that sweat gets cold and it starts to freeze on you in there, especially when it's dark and cold. So layers, maybe like a long john top, you know, like a thermal t-shirt if you like. Also maybe just like a normal t-shirt. I always wear like a t-shirt, a hoodie, and then I have like my sort of windproof, it's like a tracker jacket that I wear, so it's waterproof and fleeced on the inside. And that also does come with I think that one comes with a fleece on the inside, but I've took that out. But again, that is another layer, so you could use that instead of a hoodie if you like. You could have the fleece layer and then the jacket over the top to keep the wind out, and obviously to keep you dry. Other things that I would highly recommend, I also have a like a thermal bib and brace, so like an all-in-one set of trousers that come up here with your straps. Again, I've got that, that's fleeced on the inside of my one. I've never been cold in it yet, but you know, you never know, that could be a case one day. But I normally wear shorts under that because it is so warm. So yeah, I wear like a fleeced bib and brace. And obviously the outside, again, being waterproof, so you can tuck your wellies over so you can tuck it over your wellies, keep the wind out of your ankles, etc, etc. Also, thermal socks. For me, that's a big one. You could probably find the socks, they're like £4 or £5 for a decent pair. This time of year, you normally find them in petrol stations and places like that, or online. I'm sure you could probably find them as well. But I swear by thermal socks. So a pair of thermal socks with some decent welly boots, not the cheapest of cheap, but a half decent set of welly boots. That'd be enough to keep your toes warm. The important thing is your footwear themselves. So like I just mentioned, a decent set of wellies. You can get the wellies with the thermal socks in them. You can probably get them for about £20 to £30 as well. So the deals are about to be had. So, I'd certainly look on eBay if you haven't got any, or you know, Amazon or wherever else, and get a set, especially this time of year, because there's nothing worse than soaking wet feet. It can ruin a session. So my second tip is to take a thermos flask. I believe it's an essential in the winter, especially fishing in the evening. You know, the sun goes in, all of a sudden the temperature drops another few degrees, and you're there in like an ice cold Arctic temperature if you like. And there's nothing better than being able to grab a flask, open it up and have a nice cup of tea, coffee or hot chocolate, whatever your tipple of choice is. Also, another good thing of a flask, you could fill it with soup. So fill it up in the morning, go for the day, and then you've obviously got soup, so you've got like a hot meal if you like, on the bank. So yeah, tip 2, absolutely take a thermos flask with a hot drink, or even just fill it up with hot boiling water and then take separate tea bags, etc. You know, whatever way you like to do it. So my tip number 3, guys, would be to take a small like portable camping stove with you, and maybe even a small kettle. I personally use this one. This is a petrol Coleman stove, and a tiny little kettle. You probably make one cup of tea out of that, or one soup, or you know, whatever you want. Also, it's big enough just to fill up a hot water bottle. Which is another thing that I'd also bring with me. Again, you don't have to, but on the really, really cold nights, I'm thinking late December, January, there's not a nicer feeling than getting your fleeced water bottle, filling it up with hot water and chucking it down your jacket. That'd be another tip for me to stay warm and comfortable on the bank, because obviously the more comfortable you are, the more you're going to be concentrating on your fishing, hoping for that big girl to come out. Stove wise, I personally would use a petrol stove, purely because in the winter the butane canisters, they're just something to do with the pressure. Don't ask me the science of it, but it's something to do with the liquid turning, the gas turning into a liquid, so you don't get the pressure behind it. Whereas petrol, it doesn't matter what temperature it is. As soon as you pump that little plunger on your petrol stove, you're gonna have a really high pressure, good solid burn. So yeah, petrol would be what I'd recommend, and that'd be the way I'd go stove wise. You can also buy, can't see it off top of my head, but you get like a little thermos bottle, if you like, with a sealable lid, and you can carry spare fuel in that, which would be handy to keep in your car. And obviously you don't get any odour with that because it's a proper sealed bung. So yeah, stove, kettle, essential in my opinion, again with the hot water bottle. So tip number 4 is shelter. Again, another crucial one. Even if it's not raining, if you've got a bit of a cold, icy wind blowing, if you put your brolly up, or like a small brolly shelter, that's going to help you stay out of a direct wind and keep that wind chill away from you. I'd never go anywhere without a brolly. I personally use a Corum brolly. It's got like some sides on it, but it's still lightweight like your normal brolly. Can't remember what it's called. It's a Corum one, Corum Super Light or something like that. But absolutely, brolly is essential for me. Obviously, rain aside, like I said, keep that wind up, keep that wind away from you. And not just that, gives you somewhere where you can keep all your gear, especially in the dark, keep it all up together and to hand. Tip number 5 for me would be keep moving. Obviously, moving around, like if you're chub fishing, for example, or something like that, then you're roaming around the bank anyway, and that is going to keep you warm. That aside, what I would do, I keep my hands moving in my gloves. I keep my feet moving, so I'll sort of roll my feet around on the bank or move my toes and my wellies. Anything like that that's going to get the blood circulation going and help produce heat and keep you warm. And obviously it stops you from cramping up. So yeah, I never sit in a certain spot for a long period of time, because you end up just cramping up, especially at our age or my age. You just end up cramping up. And again, it makes the fishing an unenjoyable experience. So keep moving. Keep your toes moving, keep your fingers moving in your gloves, and obviously stay on top of that, roaming about and finding those fish. So guys, tip number 6, or my last tip for staying comfortable in the winter on the bank, is basically carrying some useful kit with you. A head torch, obviously in the dark and essential. From a safety point of view, or signalling, should you be stuck somewhere or in a river or fall into a river, any extra little bit of gear like a torch, a whistle, or anything like that, it's got to be a win-win. So yeah. Secondly, I would have a windproof lighter. So even if it is blowing a gale out there, you got a lighter, so you can get your stove going, if you like. So yeah, a windproof lighter. I'd certainly always have that in my box. I've always got a couple kicking in my bag. Spare socks as well. I'd absolutely take a spare pair of socks. You've only got to slip or put your foot into a boggy bit of mud and then the water goes over the top of your wellies. There's nothing worse than that. Again, I know that firsthand because I've done it on more than one occasion. So yeah, a spare pair of thermal socks in your bag. It doesn't weigh anything, and you've always got a bit of room in one of the pockets. So yeah, spare pair of socks, definitely in my essential winter kit bag. The other thing that I'd take will be the chemical type hand warmers you get. You basically, you can buy them online for about £1 each, I think they are. They're one use only, but you just tear them and then you shake them about, and it mixes a couple of chemicals together which react with each other and generate heat. What I tend to do with those is stick them in my gloves if it's freezing, or stick them in my pockets. And if I am struggling with my feet, then I'll actually take them and just chuck them in the bottom of my welly and then put my foot back in them. And because they're only made out of a sort of a fabricy, imagine a tea bag but made out of fabric. That's the kind of material that it's made from. So chucking it in your welly, it's not going to be uncomfortable. It sort of just blend around the bottom of your foot. That's always a win-win for me, and I swear by that. Keep your hands warm, keep your feet warm, or stick them in your pockets. Obviously, the last major thing would be have your mobile phone to hand. Again, for emergencies, or if you do get that big fish, you want to be able to take a little snap. But more so, I think, for emergencies this time of year, especially if you're fishing on your own. Which brings me to another point. If you are fishing on your own, you go in, out in the middle of nowhere, roaming the banks, let a family member know where you are and roughly what time you're going to be back, from a safety aspect. And then that way, should you not return, then they know to raise an alarm or send out a search party or come and look for you. So yeah, that's my top winter tips. I hope some of those tips may have helped some of you. I'm sure there's many more tips. I've learned the hard way over the years, which is how I've come out with these tips, if you like. But that's 6 of my own. I hope that it's helped you out a little bit. I'll let you go now. So until next time, I'll catch you guys again on the bank. Enjoy your own fishing. Take care. Stay warm. Stay comfortable. Stay safe. See you for now.